Well, hi and welcome to The Drum. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of perks in my business, and one is I meet the loveliest ladies in the world, and this is a brand new artist from Australia. Her name is Anita Spring. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's got a single out, her first single called Blink. But I tell you what, Anita has done a lot of work. There's a lot of, if we talk about development, well, Anita, you have developed.
I have.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, now let's talk about how you started off. You had parents that were in cabaret?
Yes, Mum is a singer and my dad's a bass player.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up in a very musical household.
Now, that was in Sydney?
In Perth.
Perth? Oh,
yeah.
Right, in Perth,
yeah,
right.
Born in Perth. Moved to Sydney when I was about 4.
Right.
So I grew up in a house with the Eagles, James Taylor, Frank Sinatra, Cole Porter. And so it was just music everywhere.
And tell me, like, with all that music around you, were you singing along with all these records? I mean, like, were you asking to hear these records?
Yeah, at the age of 2, I was already grabbing Mum's mic.
My God.
In a Perth, South Perth pub, and I conducted the band. I sang Five Little Ducks.
Five Little Ducks?
Yeah.
My God.
So I couldn't get me off stage from that moment.
Okay, so then you move on to over to Sydney.
Yeah.
And then in your teen years, what happened?
Went to a school called Newtown Performing Arts High School in Sydney, and on the weekends I was doing a show at Australia's Wonderland, a kids show as Pebbles.
Right.
And hosting that and singing every
So what
weekend.
was this school you went to though?
Newtown Performing Arts High
Is
School.
it good?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like Fame.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we did, outside the normal curriculum, we did singing and dancing and acting
Right.
Every single day.
So from that and being at Australia's Wonderland, and I tell you what, don't knock it because, well, you're not that you were knocking it, because when you look at sort of some of the singers that have emerged on the world arena, and you look at, say, the Britney Spears and the Christina Aguileras who started in Disney and all of that sort of thing, I mean, that's really good training, you know? And, you know, we've been talking to a lot of acts over the last 4 or 5 months that have emerged, and we've been talking about the lack of shows or whatever, certainly on television, for a young artist, an aspiring young artist to emerge. But you went from Australia's Wonderland to Thailand in the Grease production.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was fantastic. It was
because they love music, Thais.
Yeah.
The Thais, yeah.
We actually had to teach everyone in Thailand how to run a theatre.
Yeah?
So, yeah, it was amazing with the language barrier. It was actually quite easy to overcome because
Right.
you know, actions speak louder than words.
Sure.
You know? And it was fantastic. And I was there during the Water Festival and all of
the
that.
Water Festival, amazing,
it was
isn't it?
fantastic. So it was great.
I mean, the great thing also about, I think, the Thais is that they are very theatrical. I mean, even, you know, with their traditional dancing, but when I've seen, you know, like live performances, I've seen drag performances, and they really have the art of doing it, you know?
Absolutely, they're amazing performers,
Yeah.
and all the makeup and the stage wear, fantastic. During the Grease production, because it wasn't English, we had big screens either side of the stage, so that it was all translated into Thai, so they could understand the show. And it was great. And then I went on to do another musical called Bad Boy Johnny in Sydney.
Yeah, with
Doc Neeson and Chris
Doc
Bailey.
And Chris Bailey.
Yep, and that's where I met Christine Anu.
Right. Okay, now, obviously meeting Christine was a turning point, a real turning point for you of where you are now.
Yes.
Because after you'd done Bad Boy Johnny, Christine asked you to tour with her on her national tour.
Yes.
As a backing vocalist.
Yes, it was great. We went all over Australia and all over Asia. And that's where I really did get the urge to become a pop artist myself.
Right.
And start writing.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, obviously Christine, because she was working on new material herself, inspired you then to go back and start doing your own demo and writing songs.
Definitely.
You know?
I was looking at her, you know, doing the shows and everything, and that's what I wanted to do, you know.
Now, again, as a support, again, I guess another turning point for you, well, definitely a turning point, was the ARIA 2000 Awards, where you were a backing vocalist for Powderfinger when they performed. Tell us about that.
Well, Bernie gave me a call. He got my number from one of the horn section, the trumpet players, gave him my number for a vocalist in Sydney. And he gave me a call saying, would you like to do backing vocals for the ARIA Awards? And I said, no, not at all. I said, of course I do, yes, that'd be great. And got a couple of my bestest girlfriends who are also singers to do backing vocals. And we did Passenger at the ARIA Awards.
It was an amazing performance that night too, you know.
It was. By then, it was fantastic, and that's a year that they cleaned up at the ARIAs.
I tell you what, with their new album, I think they're going to clean up again because
I know.
have you heard the album? It's
Fantastic.
quite sensational. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now that was a turning point, but the turning point was that the president of Universal, who was at that performance, saw it and decided, "Who are you?" You know.
Yes, he
and signed you up.
yeah, 4 months later I had a record deal. It was great because I never shopped my music anywhere, and I just finished a couple of days before the Arias writing and producing a demo CD.
Wow.
So it was all coincidence.
Yeah. So that was like obviously 2.5 years ago, but you then started recording your album between London and Sydney, right?
That's right.
That's pretty heavy. That, I mean, it's great, you know.
It was fantastic because it was always my dream to get to London and work with these amazing people. John Holliday and Trevor Steele are former Escape Club
members, yeah.
Yep. And
Very
Tony
clubby.
Swain was the executive producer on the whole album, and he's produced Spandau Ballet, all the Spandau Ballet
Sure.
records, Kim Wilde and Bananarama.
Wow.
So just to even be in these people's presence was just amazing,
Yeah.
but to work with them was such an honour. And we recorded about 25 songs, the majority of which I wrote, and put the
Right.
album together back in Australia.
So now tell us, the single's Blink, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But let's talk about the album. The album, when is it coming out?
Later on in the year.
Yeah. Have you got a title for it yet?
Yes, Paris Can Wait.
Paris Can Wait.
Yes.
Great title. All right, Blink. I mean, great song, great production. I love the video.
Thank you.
And clever the way, you know, there's different versions, etc. Just tell us about it.
Blink is a love song. It's about that moment in time when two
I
people
think my
have...
dog's fallen in love with you as well.
Hello, gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It reminds me of my dog. Hello, Ziggy. It's about that moment in time when two people have everything so perfect, they don't want anything to change. So don't blink. We're fine. I'm here.
Right.
You're mine. And then towards the end of the song, he leaves me.
Oh, it happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it, you know. Okay, so the single's out now. Album out later in the year. Live performance-wise.
I can't wait to get out and do
Yeah.
the live stuff. It's really important for me to show everyone that, you know, I'm a singer and that's my background, that's where I come from. And I've been pressing everyone to get me out and do the live gigs now, but they're saying just hold off a bit, so I can't wait.
Your vocal styles is quite varied, I notice, you know. I mean, it's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Did you go to a singing teacher? I mean, apart from going to that school, I mean...
It was just mum.
Yeah?
Just being around mum, and mum taught me everything I know about singing.
Wow.
Yeah, my mum is amazing. She's my best friend.
Well, listen, congratulations on the single.
Thank you very
I know it's
much.
going to be a hit for you. And can't wait for the album. And I do believe you've done a cover version of
Wild
a
Wild
song that
West.
was a great song at its time, Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have a female vocal on it, actually.
Right.
And I asked
How
the
did you come up
guys...
with the idea of that?
Well, because I was working with Trevor and John,
Yeah.
I said, wouldn't it be great to have a female vocal on Wild Wild West? And they went, it's a great idea, let's do it. But of course, it's no longer living in the 80s or heading for the 90s.
Sure.
It's living in the noughties. Can you feel the force yet?
Right. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, and
you.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you very much.
And you are a very fine vocalist, and I have no doubt that you're going to become a huge star in this country and also possibly overseas in the very near future.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very
Molly.
much. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you, Ziggy. Fantastic, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Anita Spring. Stick around because I'm up next on the drum.
Perfect. Any other ideas, Molly? I'm happy with that.
And okay.
Hi, I'm Anita Spring, and watch out because I'm up next on the drum with Molly.
Okey-dokey.
Hi, and welcome to the drum. Well, look, I tell you what, you have a lot of... No, that's what I don't want to say.
Oh, hang on. So, and radio.
Hi, and welcome to the drum. Well, I tell you what, during my workload, you have a lot of good moments. You have some bad moments as well. But some of the good moments is you meet and get to meet some of the loveliest ladies in the world. And Anita Spring is one of them. She's a new artist for this country. Has a debut single out called Blink. It's got an album coming out later this year. And I mean, she's a beautiful looking lady and a great singer. Anita, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Molly. Thanks for having me.
That's cool. You'll have to excuse Ziggy there. I think he's fallen in love with you.
Beautiful.
Tell us how it all began.
Well, it all began, Mum and Dad both in the music industry.
Yeah, I believe so.
My mum's a singer, my dad's a bass player, and from the moment I could talk, wanted to do nothing else but sing.
Fantastic.
Cool.